So, New Year's resolutions, people start new businesses, trying to embark on different journeys, and really 2023 is my year, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to play this clip from Byron Allen, who everybody may know him for being on, I can't even think of which shows he was on, but being an entertainer or a comedian, that's how I know him. But one day I was researching and found out that he owned the Weather Channel.
Wait, what?
Yeah. And I found out because I was trying to find people who started a network, right? Like I follow other podcasts and they look at it as a broadcast, right? Like, cause this technically is a broadcast. We got cameras everywhere. We got lights, we got mics, all of this stuff. Right. So I was trying to figure out like, how did other people do it? So I can, cause it's always like, man, there's a blueprint out there somewhere. And he was on a Breakfast Club. So this clip is from the Breakfast Club. This is somebody else's TikTok, but Byron Allen was on there talking about his claim to fame.
Okay.
And I'll just start it over.
Started my company from my dining room tape in 93. I did a television special where I interviewed a bunch of funny friends called Entertainers with Byron Allen. Yep. I called all 1,300 television stations and asked them to carry the show for free. They all told me no about 50 times. After a year of doing that, I was able to squeeze out 150 yeses. I got a TV station in every market from New York.
So
I was doing the math.
I gotta bust this down for a second though. My man said he started his media company
at his kitchen table
from his dining room table, and he said he was just cranking out. This is when you ain't had no internet, so my man was in the phone book making phone calls, and people be acting like they can't.
Yellow page.
People be acting like they can't get stuff done, and it's like, dog, you got a smartphone, you have unlimited power in your hands. All right, I'm just had to stop right there because come on now.
To Waterloo, Iowa. Tribune had said to me, Byron, if you get 75% of the country, we will sell your commercial time. Because I said to the TV stations, there's 14 minutes of commercial time. I'll keep 7 minutes. You keep 7 minutes. I'll sell my 7 minutes to national advertisers. You, local TV station, you sell your 7 minutes to local advertisers. I'll sell my 7 minutes to McDonald's, Pepsi, Johnson & Johnson, and General Motors.
You produced the show, did everything yourself?
Everything myself. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. Sat there for 1 year, worked the phones like crazy. Now, Tribune said, we changed our mind. We're not going to give you an advance of $400,000 so you can go into production. I didn't have 2 nickels to rub together, and I decided I'm going forward. I didn't know how I was going to get it done. It was tough. My home went in and out of foreclosure over 14 times over about a 4 or 5 year period.
Went from bankruptcy to billionaire.
And that's exactly right. They were
I don't know this man, but I love it.
Let's just talk about this for a second. Seriously, I thought you would like this because we're hustling, we're hustling, but I want to go from hustling to building, and I feel like that's what he did. He went from hustling because we always talk about hustling. You gotta hustle, you gotta hustle, you gotta hustle, and it's like, okay, what's next, right? If you're a hustler on the street, you can't ever get out because you're always hustling, right? So you're $500,000, you're $1 million. And whatever you doing will either run out or to catch up with you because you still hustling. You never building anything. You never getting assets, investing that money in things that will get you away from the street, right? Because the hustle is supposed to grow you. My man hustling at the dining room table, right? My man said he had a deal on the table, said he was going to get it done. Like they always do when it may be us. And, and I'm going to get into race at the end of this too because I wanted to talk about that. But when it's us, sometimes, or in business, sometimes they say yes and then it be up. Right? So at that point, he said, I'm going forward.
But what I would actually say is I feel like what he's saying is what we say, just a different way. Because what it sounds like he went from no longer to surviving to thriving.
My man was surviving. His joint was. He said, "My house is going in bankruptcy."
Right, but what I'm saying is, when you hear his transition, because I feel like once you start thriving, you're no longer in survival. You're like, how can I be better? Because now it's just like, okay, I'm tired of kind of like living that whole like paycheck to paycheck or whatever. Like now, how do I take what I have and be better? Like, and it don't even necessarily have to be monetary. It could just be knowledge. Like he had a well of knowledge. It's just running deep.
Right.
So now he's just like, okay, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but I know everything that I need to do, but I'm gonna go forward. Right. And that's where you get out of that survival and you start thriving in, hey, this is who I am, this is what I got, this is what I don't got, and this is how I'm gonna be better. What that look like I feel like we get into the state of like, because you're trying to make it, you're still surviving. No, you're now thriving because now you're no longer doing the same things you were doing. You're not making the same mistakes. You're learning, you're growing, evolving. So now you're thriving in who you're supposed to become. You're no longer surviving to just maintain.
My man went from how to why not.
No,
you know, because he was like, how I'm gonna do this? Now it's like, why wouldn't I be able to do this?
No, now it's I'm going to do it.
I mean, hey, relentless Byron Allen.
I love it.
From bankruptcy to billionaire. That's crazy. Let me round this back. I'm cutting
4 or 5 year period.
Went from bankruptcy to billionaire.
And that's exactly right. There were days I didn't eat, days they turned my phone off. I was calling people from a payphone. And I got to know the lady really well at the bank. She says, your file keeps coming on my desk. What are you doing? I said, I'm not paying my mortgage because I'm paying the cameraman, the sound person, paying to get tape, paying to have my show edited, and I'm paying to put it on the satellite. I'm just trying to put a show in production. I don't have the money to do it. She says, listen up, honey. Don't let it go past day 89 because day 90, it goes to the lady next to me. And you don't want your file to go to her desk. I showed up on the 89th day. I paid my mortgage. I was floating. And finally, I turned the corner and I signed up all the movie studios to buy advertising. After I got the movie studios, I got soft drinks, fast foods, and packaged goods, and pharmaceuticals, automotive. And I went industry by industry. And I went to board of directors, to CEOs, and chief marketers. I'm on the phone. I'm going day and night. I'm on the plane every night. And I'm 6 meetings a day. I put another show on, another show. Next thing you know, I had 43 shows on the air. One of the largest.
You can't tell me that's not thriving. You cannot tell me that is not walking in your purpose.
I'll tell you what that is. That's what being an entrepreneur truly is.
Very much so.
You got to think about it. My man started winning, and he got even more consistent. Mm-hmm. He got even more diligent. He got even more hungry. Like, oh, really? Oh, it's working? Oh, it can work even more. You know. I mean, being on the phone, 6 meetings a day, hustling, not eating some days, and paying people with money that you need to put a roof over your head and getting it to go to the line and being like, all right, well, so this is the hustle. That's nuts.
It's not actually. It's really not. I ain't going to hold you. As I'm looking at merchandise, I'm like, all right, I got this coming in, this coming in. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just push this over here. Right.
Like, and that's, you know what that is? That's being comfortable, being uncomfortable. Because that's an uncomfortable situation. Ooh, especially to know that they could come and take the crib. Baby, that's where you shoot the show. They gonna
come in mid.
They gonna come in broadcast.
Moving camera. Excuse me, let me get that real quick.
No, man. Like, but this is what, you know, is the epitome of being uncomfortable, right? Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes a bill, if you know it's a certain bill that you don't have to pay, don't get in that habit. But hey, you ain't got no debt, because I ain't hear him say nothing about no debt. He just got the house. So obviously he was in a better position. But however you want to do it, if there's something that you really are passionate about, like you said, living in your purpose, moving in your purpose, this is fulfilling him. And he's like, I'm going to do this no matter what. And he was on go, and he wasn't going to stop until he got it accomplished.
Right. And I want to say this because I feel like we tend to get confused with this. Like, I tell some of my homegirls, right, like, don't confuse your intuition and your insecurities, right? Like, because they can feel very much the same. So in the same thing with walking in your purpose, don't confuse it feeling good and it being right. Like, because when it feels good, it feels like this is what it's supposed to be. Like, just because you enjoy doing it, are you willing to go this far for it? Right. Like, when you are willing to stay uncomfortable for it in the days where you know you're hungry, but you can go without eating because you know, like, if I put this money in here today, it could happen tomorrow. Like, those are the times when you really know that, hey, I'm walking in my purpose. Like, if I'm willing to not go get this Big Mac or whatever, you know what I mean? Or that Chick-fil-A, that Starbucks, right? If you are willing to give up the things that you love the most for the thing that you can't live without, then I feel like that's how you can kind of, you know, get a sense of like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. You giving up sleep. You're willing to do just about anything to fulfill this idea. Like I always say, when you have an idea, it comes from God, because he planted it in you. Now it's for you to walk in your faith to actually fulfill it. Right. Like, and you got to walk it. He can't lay it out for you if you're not willing to walk it. So it's like, when you get that idea and you like, I'm going to go with it, I'm going to push it. Like, you know, I truly believe that is an indicator for you to know that, hey, I'm actually supposed to be doing this. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me just gonna finish it out. It was a long clip. My bad.
We held libraries in the world. I went to Verizon and said, I want to launch 10 networks with you. They said, we'll give you 6. We launched 6 24-hour HD networks. A few years later, we launched the 7th network. We ended up being the largest producers of court shows. And then a buddy came to me, a guy who satellited my networks. Success begets success. He said, can we have dinner? He said, you don't realize this. Before I was the CEO of this satellite company, I used to be the chief operating officer of the Weather Channel. You should buy the Weather Channel. It's a great business, and it generates hundreds of millions of dollars. We got into it. I said, I'm going to buy the Weather Channel. I called a guy up. I said, we have an opportunity to buy the Weather Channel. It generates quite a bit of capital, and I need $310 million. I didn't use my own money. I borrowed it. I called him on a Friday morning. He has $100 billion that he manages. So I said, look, I'm here to help. You put it somewhere and get that return. I'm an asset. He sent his top executive to see me the next business day, Monday at 2:00. He said, this is one of the most amazing business stories I've ever heard. I'm going to give you a commitment letter tomorrow morning. Please close on the Weather Channel. Wow. And we did. Started my company.
Listen, what did we just also say at the beginning? You are just as successful as the circle.
Make sure to like, comment, share, and most importantly, keep it uplifting.
Take it uplifting.